So welcome, Clemmie. This is the second webinar you've done for us. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody and tell them who you are, what you do, and why you're here today?
So my name is Clemmie Jacques. I am a psychologist myself. I'm also someone who's been in recovery for about just over 4 years. I run a retreat for people in recovery in Turkey at a lovely hotel called Azure. And I also work at the Priory, and I also work for the NHS.
Cool. And I can see that there are a few people in the group. I know quite a few people came to your first retreat last year, and I can see some of them are watching now.
Oh, good, because I can't see them on my computer screen.
That's
so
okay.
If they're there, I say hello, guys. How are you?
And I met another woman in the Bristol social last Saturday who came last year as well.
Oh,
so
good, wonderful.
So there's some lovely crossover with Club Soda members. But
yeah,
I guess my first question to you would be why go away and do something, either if you're planning to change your drinking or if you have changed your drinking. Why would you go away? And does your retreat work for both? What's it about? Why would you fly to Sun? No, don't answer that bit. I know why you'd fly to Sun at the minute right now, but why would you go away somewhere and do something?
Well,
what's the benefits?
I mean, I guess the question is, why would one go on holiday at all? And I think taking breaks and having fun is a really important part of recovery. You know, we can't just be working all the time, and it's really important to have that other dimension of our lives where we can expand in our horizons, where we can relax and recuperate, especially in a world where things get very stressful. And so the first question is, why go away? But I think the question before that is, you know, why take a break? And the second question, which was, you know, why go away? Well, it's really nice to go to other countries and obviously get a bit of sun. I understand in England it's raining like cats and dogs. I'm actually in France myself at the moment. I've gone away. I came
back from Malta this morning, to be honest.
Okay.
So got sunburn.
Yeah. See, I'm still very white, so that the sun hasn't seen me since the last retreat. So coming on holiday, I work really hard, and for me, having holidays is my special treat. It's something for me in a world where I give something to people sort of every day, and I'm sure a lot of your members do that. So to take the time to give ourselves treats, to have fun, to get away from the monotony of daily life. And going to visit other cultures is a really good way of doing that. Now, a big problem is a lot of people used to do that, and they, before, reducing or cutting out alcohol, and their holidays would be very much based around alcohol.
Getting pissed. Starting at lunchtime and carrying on.
Lunchtime, gosh, that's late.
Or at the airport if you're flying out.
Yeah. Actually, airports and train stations are one of the biggest places where people sort of fall off the wagon, as it were, because traveling can be stressful. Some people find going on aeroplanes and going on trains really stressful. So that is sort of, sometimes people, do. And there's lots of alcohol in those situations. On the plane, you get free alcohol. In the airport, it's there. You have duty free. It's very present. And especially with a lot of the holidays that are on offer, package deals, things like that, there's all inclusive, there's free drinks. Drinks are cheaper abroad as well. So you can get a cocktail for next to nothing. I'm actually in the Champagne region at the moment, where you can get wine and champagne really cheaply, and so it is very difficult to resist those temptations, and a lot of people come here just on holiday just for that, and of course that works well for a lot of people, but there are some of us who find it really difficult to have that moderation and to have a holiday which isn't based around alcohol in some form.
Yeah, I think the stats show that people double the amount that they drink in units when they go on holiday.
Yeah.
And some people consider that they're a key part of the holiday.
Yeah.
But actually, the chances are you're likely to come back less relaxed because you've drunk rather than more relaxed.
Yeah, especially because of the lack of sleep, the damage you've done to your liver, all the partying that goes along with it. So I'm not surprised that the consumption, doubles.
Yeah, and then I often say to people, just remember, if you go on an all-inclusive, that the cheapest thing for those all-inclusive places to give you is the food that's beige and the alcohol. The more expensive stuff for you to get value for money is the non-alcoholic drinks and the fruit and the healthy stuff. So you really have to begin to turn it on your head.
Yeah, and I'm in France and I'm here for the brie. I'm here for the culture, and perhaps some yummy food, which is different to how it would have been 4 or 5 years ago, where it would have been, I'm here for, to stock up on duty free. And it is possible to have that change of holiday, to have that more holistic understanding of going on holiday and going to different regions and what they offer. The retreat we run in Turkey is actually pretty good because it is a majority Muslim country, although there is it's very cosmopolitan, so there is alcohol on demand, but not so much as if you would go to a similar type holiday in somewhere like Greece or Lanzarote or something like that. So that's, I guess, one good thing about Azure is, although it's available, it's not as in your face as some of the other holidays that people can go on.
Tell me a bit more about your retreat. Is it designed for people who have given up yet, or is it designed for people who have given up? What happens? Is it scary? Do you send everyone to bed and give them saline drips and detox them, or do they get to go to the beach? What happens? Tell me, Clemmie.
There's so many questions, or I can't possibly answer them all at once.
Yeah, you can. You're sober. You can do it.
I'll answer the first question. The holiday is designed for people who have given up, and we want our guests to come to not drink. And that is because if people come and they've been drinking heavily and they suddenly come on a holiday and they cut out the alcohol, that's very dangerous, as you know, because of withdrawal symptoms. So although my co-facilitator, Lynn, is a trained nurse and she's been working in rehabs herself for almost 30 years, we don't have the facilities for people to come and detox. Having
really
said
important.
and it's really important for people's safety to know that and for the safety of the retreat. If people come and they're in a really bad state, then obviously we'll help them as much as we can, but we're not equipped as a rehab would be equipped. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However, having said that, we did have people that came on the last retreat and were recently quit and not suffering from any withdrawal symptoms. And we also had people that came on the retreat and had 2 years sobriety or 7 years sobriety. And we had some people that came on retreat who were thinking about moderation or were already moderating, but didn't drink for the entirety of the retreat. And we have to have that kind of blanket rule because we are a group, and part of the group is that we all do the same things. We eat same healthy meals, we have the same activities, we're all in it together. If one person was to be going off for one night and having a drink in the local restaurant while everyone else was sat there drinking mineral water, it would create a dynamic.
I think it's the same on our lunches, which is that they're dry lunches, because even if you're trying to moderate, you have to practice going to things and not drinking. Otherwise you're not exercising that pick and choose muscle that you need in order to successfully moderate as well.
And the retreat is designed so that it is fun without having to have the alcohol. It is restful, it is relaxing. We do yoga twice a day. I do the evening yoga because I'm not very good at getting up in the mornings. The morning yoga is a bit more strenuous. The afternoon yoga is much more sort of meditative, gentle stretching, which is lovely and relaxing. We also have things like boat trips to the local sort of fishing village, which is absolutely stunning, very sort of picturesque. And my favorite thing to do is we go to the local hammam and have Turkish baths and massages and things like that. For me, that's my big treat. You know, that's the thing I do to enjoy myself.
And do you do any sessions on changing drinking habits and stuff? How does that, because I can see all of those things are really important for that self-care element, the learning to put yourself first, the nurturing yourself stuff that you need to do alongside change your drinking. What do you do to help people with that part of their journey?
So every day we offer a 2-hour group therapy session, which is facilitated by myself and Lynn, and we are fully trained professionals. But I would say that the group is very much sort of run as a whole. Everyone has an equal say. It's very egalitarian. We do have some sort of group rules around confidentiality, respecting each other, that sort of thing. I don't know if any of the other ladies that came on the retreat are sort of commenting about that, but or could sort of say what their experience of it was around. We all sit in a circle and we share our experiences, and we share what's helped us and what's been hard for us, and we share what might have driven us to become overusers of alcohol in the first place. And then also Lynn and I would give sort of ad hoc as needed one-to-ones if people have particular issues they want to talk about. And for me, the most therapeutic element of the holiday is going on a holiday with other people who know what it's like and who've been there. And I have to say, I was really impressed with all the ladies on the retreat, because the last retreat happened to be all female, but of course men are welcome too. But, you know, they all came together and really supported each other and shared, not just in the group, but just in daily life. You know, we'd had a good chat, and everyone supported each other, and we have a WhatsApp group. And so we're still in that WhatsApp group, after, you know, chatting and sharing with each other. And the retreat was in September, so that's a good few months ago. We do mention Club Soda quite a lot, because it's one of the resources that a lot of people that come on the retreat have used and have found really helpful.
I think something like this is really important. So when I decided to give up, so I'm nearly 7 years now, I found a workshop. It's the workshop that made me so angry that I set up Club Soda. But the important part of that was I'd found something where I could dedicate a whole day to thinking about changing my drinking.
Yeah.
I'd put a line in the sand, a date. I was working towards that date, and I had, it was a real milestone. And so if there'd been something like a week away where I could have completely immersed myself in it, I think that would have been even more powerful, and been able to talk to other people in a far more relaxed way. It's those conversations you might have when you're sat in the garden, or washing up, or making some food, or when you're feeling seasick on the side of a boat, going, oh, it's not like a hangover, that sort of conversation, which is really important.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of gallows humor as well, in that sense that, you know, don't worry, we've all been there, we've all done that, we know how it is, and that really helps reduce that shame that people can feel around the whole process of quitting, or have becoming, you know, over consumers in the first place. You know, is we get rid of that, and we get rid of that shame. We dilute that through the connection with each other, and through the caring and the empathy and the compassion that we give to others, we learn to give ourselves that same empathy and compassion.
So how many people can you take on the retreat?
So I think we can take, I think it's about 12. We had 9 on the last retreat, which was a nice good number, and we definitely have a lot of spaces left if people would like to book on the retreat. The next retreat is in May, beginning of May, which is good for me because it's going to be warm but not too warm, so I won't get completely sunburnt. But it will be warm enough to swim in the sea and to get a suntan if you really want to get a suntan. And there are some really nice there's some really nice rooms, and there's also this really nice sort of Bedouin tents as well. And if people want to share, so for example, if friends want to come and they want to share, we could do more. And there's a pool there, we're not far from the sea, there's lots of sort of hangout areas, the food is delicious, and it's just and I myself found Azure because I was searching for a holiday. And I went on a body positive retreat there sort of, a year and a half ago. And then Jane, who is the owner of the hotel, she of Azure Wellness Retreat, she contacted me and asked me if I'd be willing to run a recovery retreat there, because she herself has been on this journey, and she needed something like this when she first quit drinking, and so she set up this retreat because she knew that there was a need for it. And so it's her baby. She really cares about it philosophically, about the need to go on a holiday and for it to feel safe but also be fun. And especially as that first holiday after getting into recovery, it's a milestone.
Absolutely. And I also feel you learn some other really important things there, like meeting strangers without having a drink. You know, they're the sort of things we do at Club Soda lunches, which is everyone feels you need Dutch courage to meet strangers, whereas I think meeting new people is one of the most exciting things you can do in the world. And I don't ever want to dull that with alcohol again. But knowing that it can be done, remembering that we all feel a little bit anxious when we're meeting new people, and thinking about how you felt at the start of a holiday with strangers and then how you feel at the end of the holiday with those people shows that, you know, you didn't need the alcohol. So you're actually practicing a lot of techniques that you need to take back into the real world with you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. That's a really good point. And people did arrive really scared. There were some people who hadn't flown on a plane for many, many years and that came out and found it really anxiety provoking. But then they got there, and within a day, you know, like best buds. And leaving was really hard. I stayed on for a couple of days after everyone left, and I really missed everyone. And I know that they all missed everyone too. By the end, it's funny, by the end of the week, people become, you know, your best buds.
And you learn so much from them, because we learn that our experiences aren't that unique, really. We like to think we're all special snowflakes, and I personally like to think I am, but actually it's all the same. All of the stuff that we need to do to make change happen, all those experiences that we go through, all of the things that may mean that led us to drinking too much, are all really very, very similar. And actually it's learning that means that, you know, it's possible to change, and seeing other people a bit further along on the journey than you makes you aware that it's possible to change. And that's powerful.
Because people think, how can I ever do that? What is my life going to be like without alcohol? How can I do this? How can I have fun? How can I make friends? You know, and it is possible, but you don't know it's possible until you do it. So it's about, going on holiday or even recovery in general. It's about taking that plunge and having a bit of faith that it will all work out, which can be hard when you're on your own. And so doing it on a holiday with other people who are there and supporting you can be just that little bit more helpful. And, you know, on the holiday, you know, we look for what's the same about us, what combines us, what bonds us, rather than what's different about us, where we come that in the country that's different, or you know, our background or anything like that, it's different. Like, we very much focus on what is the same, and there's actually, when you come down to it, there's way more similarities in as being human beings than there are differences.
One of the things that I'm interested in is, because it's very common on Club Soda, and somebody's just talking about it in the comments now, for people to be doing multiple day ones. They get to a week, they get to 10 days, and then they come back again. And I'm constantly searching for how we can get people to a position where their commitment is strong, but their confidence is also quite high, because that's when I think that combination is what nudges people over to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and not repeating the same patterns. Do you think coming on a retreat does that? Do you think, you know, putting that week aside for yourself, do you think that can help?
I absolutely do think that can help, and it definitely builds up confidence. You know, having that laughter and talking about things, and, you know, getting to that week and beyond really helps. Of course, it's not a cure-all. You're right, there has to be that commitment for change. That
you have to want to do it. You're not going to wave a magic wand, are you, Clemmie?
And no, God, no, I can't. I wish. If I could do that, I'd be a millionaire, or a
Yes.
billionaire even. But I mean, one thing that is sort of really helpful for that commitment for change is to spend the week with people who also have that motivation to change.
Absolutely.
And so it's infectious when you see, if you go there and it's your first day or your second or third day, and there's someone there who's got 9 months, and you see them with their, with their 9 months, bless you, then you catch off them this desire to have what they have, and for the people who have been in a little bit longer, it's reminding us, okay, I remember where I was, I remember what that was like, and I don't want to go back to that life before. So there's a mutual aid between the people who have had a long time and those who have had the short time.
Absolutely. And I want people to know that even though you might have done a number of day ones, every time you pick up again, you're learning more. The more you learn, the more that can increase your confidence. So, being able to do that and then go, right, what didn't work this time? Would going away help? Would, coming to a Club Soda workshop help? Would spending more time on Facebook help? Begin to think about how you can build that support around you from the things that you already know are out there.
Well, absolutely, because it's easy. I don't say it's easy to do it, but it's easier to do it on a holiday when you're out of your normal surroundings. You're away from the things that stress you, family, work, all of that. You're with other people who are getting that sobriety, and then you come home and it's straight back into the problems, and you're on your own, or you're living in a stressful situation. And so we really emphasize on the retreat the aftercare package, as it were, which is link in with people. Don't leave without some kind of recovery plan in place, and put that recovery plan in place. By thinking about that and strategically planning it out, that increases the likelihood that you keep going, which is why I encourage people to carry on doing sort of meditation, to reaching out to people. And, one of the things that we also, work quite hard on in our group therapy is that thinking about relapses or lapses and why they occurred, what happened there, what was the reason, what drove you back, and really look at that and think, how can we change that picture? What can we do a little bit differently? And I say we all the time, which probably sounds quite patronizing, but it is a we. It is a we all do it together. And it's rare that I meet someone that gets it first time. But what I do know is that if people keep trying again and again and again, they will eventually get there. And it's about not giving up. Never give up giving up.
No, absolutely. And I think, like I say, that putting aside that time for you to think totally about this subject, immerse yourself in it for a week is a really good behaviour change technique in its own right.
Yeah.
But so is the support you get. So is the role modelling from other people who go along, and so on. So what you've got is a whole perfect storm of behaviour change techniques all in one place that people can access. And one of the reasons why we're happy to promote Azure as Club Soda is that you do that planning, getting people to think about what happens afterwards, and also making sure you keep in touch with people and not going, right, we've had your cash, go off into the world, and we don't really care, and we'll do a money back guarantee, but we don't really care if you do well or not. Because for us, ethically, just I don't ever want people to feel like they're left on their own, which is why we're happy to take people from Azure here as well.
I mean, I feel very attached to all of the ladies that came on the last retreat, and they were all just such a lovely group, and I actually really care about if they make it or not, and they care about me too. It's a two-way street. Lynn and I aren't just there as therapists, we're there as participants. I don't believe in this kind of them and us mentality. That perhaps you might get in a more sort of formalized therapy setting, through the Priory or something like that. Here they see us, we're human, and we continue being human throughout and afterwards. And actually, we talked a lot about club soda and how that can help with the aftercare side of it. So there were people in the group who were very active in club soda, and I can't say their names for confidentiality reasons, but they taught me loads.
Yeah, and they do talk openly in socials about the fact they went on the retreat.
Oh, that's
and
good.
To me, that's a good testament to the fact that it was a good experience. So
yeah, absolutely.
I have to come
I'm really
at some
glad.
point. I haven't been yet.
Well, you've got to come. It's great. We're
doing
one in May, and then we're doing another one in September. So we're missing the hottest months because we're sat there for 2 hours in the morning, and although we're in the shade, we're sat for 2 hours in a circle with our group therapy. And if it was the hot, people might not want to do that. So we do that, and just 2 hours out of the day. I mean, it's not compulsory, but it is encouraged, and we do other things the rest of the time as well. Some of the girls that came last time walked into town and went to the markets and came back with some very reasonably priced items. And I got a lot of Turkish delight and pistachio nuts.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Well, that's what you can do when you're not spending your money on cheap bottles of plonk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and the energy to do those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it might not be, the most ravey holiday you'll ever have. We don't have sort of nightclubs on site or anything like that. But there is connection there, and there definitely is fun there. I certainly had a lot of fun.
No, well, like everything in life, you have to reconfigure what you consider to be a holiday in your mind. So I've just come back from Malta with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the fact that we were in bed by 9:30 each night rather than going out in town. But actually, we really wanted to do that because we were really excited about getting up the following morning. I did so much running, but we totally made the most of our time, and we really, really enjoyed sleeping. She's been through a very emotional bereavement, and I've been working really hard, and sleep was a key thing outcome of our holiday.
Yeah, and sleep is really not. I mean, as I get sort of more into recovery, I appreciate my bed even more. But also, when you get up early, you get to see those things that by 11, 12 o'clock are jam packed full of other tourists. Yeah. So it's really nice to actually get up without a hangover and go out and do those things, and then spend the afternoon, when all the tourist attractions come really busy, then you can spend some time having a little siesta or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a 10K run. We ran through Valletta in Malta's not very big. We ran through every street in Valletta, but the streets are shaped like this. So for every there's a question about how much does the retreat cost?
I believe it's £700. That includes your food, your yoga, and the group therapy for a week, but
and
not
your accommodation.
Flights. And your accommodation. Yes, yeah. But not flights. And I think it's a little bit more if you want to book one of the tents.
Cool. We will put a link up in a minute. I just couldn't do that on the phone while setting live, so I'll add the link into the description when the live finished, so that people can see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And if you come on the thread afterwards, if anyone's got any other questions, who wants to? Sarah, you can't bring 4 Jack Russells. I'll never travel on Ryanair or EasyJet. So
actually, there are 2 cats there, which is very nice. And there used to be a lot of chickens, but no more. So you do get an experience of getting to sort of bond with a few animals while you're there. And it is sad that the chickens are no longer with us, but because I became very attached to them last year. And if people do have any questions, and I don't have any of the answers for them, Jane is the owner, Jayne. And if you have any questions, she will come on and take a look at the questions and comments. Yeah. And if she can answer any of them, she'll write on there. So if someone called Jane is responding to comments, she's the woman who, this is her brainchild, this is her baby.
Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Today,
thank you for
and
talking
I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip.
Thank you. Yes. So Dad's going to go off because I'm with my father, we went to go and see some of the First World War sites today, and he's going to go off to the Champagne House in the morning, and I'm going to go shopping. So.
Well, you should challenge him that a lot of the champagne houses are now doing alcohol-free or
Are
sparkling
they?
grape juices. So you might want to. And nearly every vineyard often does a very good grape juice anyway, and some of them do a sparkling grape juice. So not quite a champagne, but you should give him a little challenge, because if you don't ask, you never know.
Yeah.
And I know that the 1866 drink that's come over is from the Champagne region, for example, and stuff like that. So
well, then I might have to have a look, and then I shall report back on how good it is.
Yeah, and just to answer, Emma, yes, there is a May and a September retreat.
There is a May and a September, and there's spaces on both.
Cool, and I will put a link up to those shortly.
That'd be wonderful. Oh, thanks so much,
Lovely to speak to you, Clemmie.
Lovely to speak to you too. Nice to have you back from Malta.
Yeah, all right, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Bye.